Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video on Bite of Geek. Today I'm taking a look at the wireless cam pro kit from WUUK. So let's check it out. So these wireless cameras are from a company called WUUK. They successfully crowdfunded a smart video doorbell. I think it was a couple of years ago now, but they've started adding things like security cameras to their product lineup, and they contacted me and asked me, given that I've done other reviews from other manufacturers on the channel, would I be interested in reviewing these? So like anything that's provided by a manufacturer, they've not paid for this review, so they get my honest opinion, as do you, and obviously this is the first time they're seeing the video along with you guys. I just get to keep these and do whatever I want with them at the end of it, really. So I guess first things first, let's have a look and see what you get in the box. So high quality packaging, very similar kind of packaging style to Eufy cameras, if you've ever used any of those. So got a little packet here with mounting guides and stickers and little instruction leaflets and a quick start guide. So usual kind of stuff that you get with these kind of camera packs. What else have we got? So then we've got the base station, which is we'll have a look at that in a second, and then we've got our two cameras, so we'll just get those out, take a look at those in a second, and then finally we've got this box here, which I'm assuming is going to be full of all the things like the fittings and the mounting stuff and things like that. We'll just get this box out of the way for now. So let's just take a quick look at the base station. So if you've used or seen a Eufy base station before, there's similar kind of size, I guess. It does feel quite light, this, compared to the Eufy one. It feels a little bit cheaper in terms of plastic. You got the WUUK logo there on the front. USB port on the back, Ethernet port, and power supply and reset switch as well. Fairly standard looking design, I guess. Reminds me a little bit of the ghost out of Pac-Man, I guess. Stick a couple of eyes on the front of this and it probably looked the same. It's just the plastic just feels a little bit less premium than the Eufy base station, but given that these things just sit at the side of the table, I don't think that's a real problem. The cameras, on the other hand, are really quite weighty. First thing I've noticed, this is quite a bit bigger than the Eufy 2C camera. So in fact, it's probably slightly bigger than the Arlo camera as well. This is a slightly different mounting. This is obviously mounting on the back. So just have a look at what we've got on the front, and we've got our camera there. We've got a spotlight on this as well. Just zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see what's on the front there. We've got our sensor, and we've got a speaker there as well, and then we've just got a I presume this is a charging flap underneath here, which is not easy to get off. So we've got a reset switch there by the looks of things. They pick that up on the camera, you can just see a little tiny reset switch, and then there is a USB-C charging port there, so good to see that. And your mounting hole on the back, and very premium feeling camera, right up there with the quality of things like Eufy and the other Arlo cameras as well. They were good quality as well. So inside this box then, what have we got? Well, okay, lots of bits and bobs here. So we've got power adapter with quite a long cable on that by the looks of things. Okay, so we've got a bag full of, so we've got 4 different power pinouts here. So I guess there's one for every possible continent around the world, regardless of where you're getting this from. So we've got 3-pin, we've got 2-pins, European 2-pin, American 2-pin, you name it, they're all in there. So yeah, I'm assuming it just clicks on here and goes in. There you go. So that is my 3-pin plug. and just a barrel connector on the end. And then we've got our USB cable. So I would imagine this is very, very similar to the Eufy cameras, where you've got to charge the camera. Well, they recommend you charge the camera from the base station. It's supposed to give it higher level of charging, but you can just charge them from any power plug. And then we've got mounting here. So kind of, yeah, identical to mounts on other kinds of cameras. You know, the screw cap on it with a pivoting mount on the inside. So there's a three screw connection on that. This looks very, very similar again to the other mounts on other cameras. It wouldn't surprise me if if you were replacing say something like a Eufy or an Arlo camera, something like that, that you couldn't just reuse their mount. They look very, very similar in terms of screw size anyway. And you get your bag of raw plugs and screws, and then you get an Ethernet cable as well, which is pretty good to see. So I would imagine that's for your first time set up on the camera and the base station. So in terms of specs, well, as I mentioned earlier, they are 2K cameras, so expect good, clear, quality footage from these. They connect on the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi network band, so no 5 gig connection here. I don't think that's a particular problem. Most cameras are on 2.4 gigahertz anyway. In terms of battery, so they have a non-removable 9600 milliamp hour battery, which WUUK say, based upon average usage, is good for about 3 months worth of use. I think very much depends upon your circumstances. You could get anywhere between 2 and 3 months, I think, depending upon what your cameras are looking out upon. Obviously they are outdoor cameras, so they're fully waterproof. Color night vision, black and white night vision. They've got the little spotlight on there as well, full motion detection, and there's an element of smart AI there as well, so they know whether it's a human going past the camera's field of view, or whether it's a car or something like that. Two-way audio as well, so obviously you can tell people to get lost if you see them. And finally the base station, so you get 32 gigabytes, yes, 32 gigabytes of storage here, significantly more than other base stations elsewhere, and plenty of storage there for your 2 cameras that come in this pack. So at the time of recording this video, the WUUK camera is only available in the US. It's due in the UK in July. I'll update the description down below with the link for that when they become available. But just doing a bit of comparison on prices between Amazon US and UK. The WUUK cameras are $219 for that double pack of 2K cameras plus the 32 gig base station. In terms of price, the nearest pack, say for example with the Eufy ones, is £229 in the UK, so that only gets you the 1080p camera, and if you want to go for the 2K camera system, then that's 270 odd pounds, something like that. However, that's still only a 16 gig base station, so these are looking like quite the bargain in terms of what you're getting in feature set, and obviously that capacity for the price. So excited to see what the prices are in the UK. Hopefully it won't be too far off that US price point. So setting up your WUUK camera system is a really straightforward process. All you need to do, plug in your base station into the power supply and your network, and after about a minute the little light on the front will go green. If it goes red, then it's got a problem with your network connection. But once it's green, you can download the app onto your mobile device, set yourself up an account, really straightforward process, and you can add your base station to the account. Once you've got that set up, then same kind of process for the cameras, so I'll show you how to do it for the camera. But basically you need to switch on your camera, so you just hold down the little button on the bottom of it where the charging port is, and after a few seconds it will announce itself.
Hello, WUUK.
And once that is effectively switched on and ready to go, you can go into the app, and you've got some options there. You've got the doorbell, you've got the base station, and you've got the camera. So you click on the camera, you click on your base station name that you've given it, and you just need to have the camera within a couple of meters of the base station, and you press down the pairing button on the base of the camera. Probably need to use a pen like I am here. You'll hear a little beep, and you just acknowledge that you've done that, and then the camera is synced to the base station, and you are ready to go. You just give it a name, and you just follow the rest of the instructions there, just showing you about the mounting instructions and things like that. So in terms of app settings, well, you've got settings for both your base station and your cameras individually as well. So your base station, you've got things like the date time, your volume level for it. You've got your storage, so you can format the storage. You can add users onto the base station as well. So some fairly basic but fundamental things there that you would expect for a base station. When you get to the cameras, there's a lot more options there. There are a couple of things missing, which I'll come to in a second. But again, you've got kind of like the standard things like your watermark, so you can have full watermarking on there if you want, or you can just have dates and times, or you can have nothing at all if you want to. You have your motion detection, so obviously you can enable that if you or disable it depending upon your need. And sensitivity levels, you can set up your activation zones as well, so you can have multiple ones of those, which is really good to see. One slight disappointment is I can't see any option to have a privacy zone for kind of like the recording on that side of things. So maybe that's something that WUUK could add in the future, who knows. Also, you've got your different types of kind of like the AI smart detection, which determines what notifications you kind of get triggered for as well. So you can have human, you can have all objects and things like that. So lots of things there that you can play around with to tweak how your camera is going to work, because obviously all of those settings there will affect your overall battery consumption as well. So good to see that you've got that level of functionality. In terms of notifications, well, the notifications, to be honest, this is a bit of a weak point on the cameras. So they are fairly basic notifications. They just give you a notification. I did ask WUUK about this, whether there was going to be some kind of improved notifications, maybe a snapshot image or something like that. It is something that's being worked on. It's no date given on that, but I'm sure it's not too difficult. Other manufacturers have implemented that, so it'd be really good to see that appear on the system going forward. So power management, well, in most camera systems, it is really just a case in here that you get, how much battery life you've got left, and the number of different triggers that have all gone unused, all of that in a week's time, something like that. With the WUUK one, this is kind of like a little step up from that, really. I do really like this feature. It gives the user more information, so you get it on a day-by-day basis, and it also tells you on those daily events all the different things, whether it was live views or whether you had smart detection or whatever, that were causing your battery to go up, use the battery consumption more. And obviously, it enables you to be able to play around with either the settings or your camera positioning, so you get the best lifespan from your battery when you've got your camera mounted where you want it. So one of the options which is very rarely present on external wireless cameras is a dismount alarm, and it's really good to see it on the WUUK system here. So obviously, your cameras, whilst they're outside, because they're just screwed in onto a mounting point, they are vulnerable unless you're putting them super high up out the way. But obviously you trade what you're seeing in terms of people's faces and things like that, the further away it is from the object. So it's really good that if somebody tries to dismount the camera, try and take it away, then the siren will sound if you've got that option enabled. So really good to see that there. Next up, you've got video quality, and you've got various options here. So if you want to take maximum advantage of all the capacity from your base station, you can chop and change that quality level as you see fit. You've also got your night vision settings as well, so you can have it as color or black and white. entirely up to you. And you've got other options, things like your network diagnostics, you've got two-factor authentication, you've got connecting it to your smart device and things like that. So lots of options there. So just one of the missing things that I've seen from the app settings is RTSP. You see that more and more on cameras nowadays, but it's not here on the WUUK system. I have asked them about that. They are currently working on that, and that will be something which will be available in the not too distant future. So, again, look out for that coming to your system via an update. So in terms of footage, well, I've got a couple of clips coming up for you now, daytime and nighttime. As you'd expect, 2K cameras, the quality is really rather good, nice and sharp quality. In terms of colours on the daytime, pretty close to what real life was like, just a little bit flatter, I would say. Nighttime, I have my cameras in black and white mode anyway, so again, just really good, strong images there. There's a little bit of curvature in the corners of the lens. Again, not a biggie to worry about really. There is a bit of lag. I counted it as roughly around about 2 seconds. I've seen an awful lot worse. I have seen better, but 2 seconds is not, it still gets captured by the camera. It's just, if you're waving your thumb or your hand in front of the camera, it is about a 2 second delay on that. So in terms of notifications, well, in my testing, they were pretty good. The cameras are already recording before your notification comes through, so there's kind of like that pre-recording aspect going on there. But in testing, compared against my Eufy 2C cameras, they were pretty much on par with those. So I'm quite happy with those notifications. Certainly on the upper end of response times in all of the cameras that I've gone and tested. So what are the good points about these WUUK cameras then? Well, I've got to come out and say straight away, there's one thing which just absolutely beats the likes of Eufy straight out, and that is the security aspect of it. So if you've not seen that video up above, I'll link it again for you guys if you want to go and see what happens when you steal a Eufy camera and then reset it. I've tried exactly the same scenario with the WUUK camera, and all of the footage stays on the base station. You can see that in this clip here. Really, really impressive. This footage is encrypted as well on the base station. It's encrypted in transmission as well. Eufy have not gone down this route. WUUK have gone down this route. So if somebody steals your camera, you're going to have footage of them on your base station that you're going to be able to see. Who's gone and done that. So that's how you do security. And for me, everything else is irrelevant regarding the good points. Obviously there are plenty of other things, but getting the fundamentals right in terms of a security product is one of the key things. So but I'll tell you about the other good things as well. So obviously really good quality for the price point. They are cheaper than, significantly cheaper than Arlo cameras at this price point. They don't have that bizarre cloud subscription that basically makes them dumb streaming cameras if you don't take out the subscription. So again, massive bonus points there. They are cheaper both than the Eufy equivalent 1080p camera, and significantly cheaper than the 2K cameras. The quality's there. The app's got plenty of features. It's just all round a good product. They are going to be coming out shortly with the new 2K Pro video doorbell as well, so that will hook into the base station, and well, that's just a direct competitor to Eufy then in all ways with regards to those products. So in terms of bad points, well, every product's got them, and the WUUK camera system is no exception to that. So starting with the base station, it is Ethernet cable connection only at the moment, so you're going to have to think about where that is located in relation to your router and modem. There is a firmware update due shortly, which is going to enable the Wi-Fi connectivity, but it would have been good to have had that out of the box. Obviously, things in the app side of things, so RTSP, support, again, going to be coming along in an update. Better notifications coming along in an update. Would have been nice to have those from the get-go. The battery, I guess, you know, some people may find this as a bit of a deal breaker. You know, Eufy's claimed 5 to 6 months, WUUK claimed, you know, 2 to 3 months. Both of those I have seen in my usage that being true to life. So, you know, there's lots right with this camera system. I think, you know, if WUUK could get the battery to have, you know, a better battery capacity, I think that would be a real game changer for them there. And I think probably just the final thing really is there is no cloud storage option. So personally, I prefer local storage rather than paying out for cloud storage, but you know, everybody's different. So some people may well be rejoicing at the fact that there's no tie into a cloud storage. You know, you have got that 32 gigabytes of local storage, but at this moment in time, there is no cloud option. So, you know, that might be a deal breaker for you, who knows? Overall, you know, this is a pretty strong product, I would say, from WUUK. You know, they are extremely competitive against Eufy. You know, the WUUK 2K camera system is cheaper than Eufy's 1080p camera system and has, you know, better storage, well, double the storage than Eufy. You know, it's even cheaper than Eufy's 2K camera system, and again, double the storage. You know, the only area really where Eufy's beating WUUK at the moment is on the battery life from that point of view. You know, in terms of Arlo, well, you know, it just completely, Arlo is not even in the equation here because, you know, they're massively overpriced, and you know, if you don't take out their subscription plans, then you effectively end up with a, you know, a streaming camera. Where WUUK has absolutely battered Eufy in this comparison is the simple fact that they've implemented security correctly. You know, if you've not watched that video about the Eufy cameras, you know, the link is up above. You know, this is absolutely spot on the WUUK system, and you know, I think a lot of people will want that safety, you know, that knowledge that, you know, if somebody steals their camera from outside of their property, then they have that footage. So for me, you know, it's a bit of a no-brainer. You know, it's cheaper and it's more secure than the Eufy security cameras. So there you go, guys. That is my thoughts on the WUUK Wireless Cam Pro Kit. You know, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What did you think of what I went through today? You know, feel free to feedback. If you've enjoyed this video, then don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. You know, for more content like this. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.